welcome back to Mixed Mechanical. Today you've tuned into another episode of Spanner Talk. In today's episode we'll be talking about ratchets, my collection, and what sort of ratchets that a mechanic needs in his toolbox, or her toolbox. I've got a handful of ratchets here. All my ratchets go from quarter drive up to 3/4 drive. Now, every mechanic will have in their toolbox a quarter drive, a 3/8 drive and a 1/2 inch drive ratchet. Not everybody needs a 3/4 set, but it is handy to have. Even if you're a car mechanic, you may still use the 3/4 set from time to time. So starting with down here, I've got 2 quarter drive ratchets. Now this one I pulled apart and re-greased and adjusted in my last video, but before I did that I went and bought this one to replace it. Now my first ratchet came with a set when I was an apprentice that I bought from Super Cheap Auto. It's Calibre. It came with the matching 1/2 inch drive ratchet. As you can see, they're both the same. One's bigger than the other, obviously. This is the quarter drive. They're both 72 tooth. Both a really nice ratchet, and they were a bargain. It was about $140 or $130 for the quarter drive and the 1/2 inch drive set together. It all came in a EVA foam tray that slides into your toolbox, and I've been using these for 5.5 years or so. This one was playing up. It wasn't grabbing when you went to turn it on the fastener. It was slipping, and so I thought it was had it. So I went and bought another one. Although this did come with a lifetime warranty, it's from Super Cheap Auto and they don't make the Calibre brand anymore. Not in tools anyhow. They've changed to Tool Pro, so I don't particularly like the new Tool Pro stuff, so I didn't bother trying to get a warranty on that. But I have since pulled it apart. In my last video I pulled it apart, greased it, tightened everything up, and it seems to be working nicely now. So it's just going to be a nice one for home. The one that I replaced it with, I purchased from Jimy Tools, pretty much the same size, but this one's got the rubbery plastic handle on it, and it's got a slide offset head, which is really nice. That helps with a bit of clearance. It's also 72 tooth, and I bought this for about $12 on clearance. $10 or $12 I think it was on clearance from Jimy Tools on their website. I'd never bought anything from Jimy Tools before, but this came and I'm really happy with it. It's just a nice ratchet. It's nice to use. The handle's pretty comfortable. It is a little bit more comfortable than using this one. This one's got some sharp edges. It's not as comfortable. This is a nice ratchet from Jimy Tools. I do recommend it for a quarter drive ratchet. I don't use quarter drive a lot, but when I do need to use it, it's a lifesaver, because sometimes you just can't get into those small spaces and you want to use a ratchet. You don't want to use a combo spanner. So quarter drive is a must for any mechanic. Next I have my collection of 3/8 drive. I got these 2 ratchets. They came in a box of second-hand stuff I bought from a junk shop. They're no name, no brand. They look like the sort of crap you buy from Super Cheap Auto for $10 for a set. I've never used them before. No name, crappy stuff. I don't recommend buying stuff like this. The stuff that I do use, first of all I have my JBS from Blackwoods 3/8 drive ratchet. My old man bought me this in a set when I started my apprenticeship. JBS brand. It's quality stuff. I haven't had any problems with this or the socket set that it came with. I do like this ratchet. It's good quality. I use it all the time. The only downside is, see if you can hear it, it doesn't have as many teeth as a 72 tooth. I haven't actually counted the teeth, but it doesn't have that many teeth, so you don't have that small adjustment in a small space, which is a bit of a pain. And the other thing I don't like about this ratchet is when you're in a working environment and you're ratcheting away on things, you can't hear that ratchet mechanism. So when you've got your arm deep down in an engine bay or somewhere unseen and you're trying to do up or undo a nut or a bolt, Notice that? You can't hear it, which is a pain because sometimes you'll be going and the nut or the bolt won't be doing up or undoing, and you won't know because you can't hear that ratchet mechanism. So being able to hear a ratchet is very, very important. Otherwise, a good solid ratchet. One that I have that I like a lot more than that one is this 3/8 ratchet. This is my home one. I've had this for about 3-4 years. It's a Toolex. Toolex is a budget brand. I wouldn't say budget brand, an industrial brand sold by Gasworld. Toolex, they have quality stuff. Now this is a 72 tooth ratchet. It's just a quality ratchet. I really enjoy using this. I use this at home, but I think I'll be taking this to work and leaving the JBS one at home because this is a great ratchet. Haven't had any problems with it. It's got a good handle. It's got that knurling there, which doesn't make a huge difference. But the JBS doesn't have that, so it's a nice feature. As far as length goes, the Toolex is a little bit longer, and it's actually a little bit heavier, which I do like. It's good for doing things up tighter or breaking a bolt, which I know you shouldn't use a ratchet to break a bolt, but we all do it. The only upside I guess the JBS has is the head is a little smaller, which means you can get it into tighter spots easily. This one is serviceable, got the 2 screws there. This one is also serviceable, but you've got to pull that snap ring out. I've never had this one apart. Now my last 3/8 ratchet, I've had this one for about a week. Picked it up last Monday afternoon, so I've been using it for, I worked Saturday, so I've been using it for 5 days now. This is a Repco swivel head. Part numbers there, RT1835. I picked that one up on with a discount from Repco. I think it was I paid about $34. Normally it's $45 or $49, I can't remember exactly. But it's a nice ratchet. I've wanted a swivel head ratchet for a long time, and I finally bought one. Spins around nicely. Also 72 tooth with a really nice strong click in the ratchet mechanism. Switch with this here. That's made of aluminium, it's not plastic, which is nice. It's a really good, I really enjoyed using this over the last week. It's great to be able to turn it like that or have it on any old angle you like. The only thing I don't like about this ratchet, the soft grip's nice, but I don't like the shape of it. It's an oval sort of a shape, which I prefer it to be round. To be honest, it'd be much better if it was round, but otherwise it's not bad. And as far as it's got lifetime warranty, Repco warranty, you can't beat. You break something, you walk into any old Repco shop, hand it to them, and they give you a new one off the shelf, provided there's no signs of abuse. So Repco, I really recommend this one. Get it on sale, or if you're an NRMA member, you get often get a discount at Repco. So I really like this one. I'll be buying the same ratchet in a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 drive sometime in the future. Moving on to 1/2 inch drive. My most recent 1/2 inch purchase is this stubby. This is another one from Jimy Tools. I bought that along with my new 1/4 drive ratchet. This was on clearance for $10, and it's a 72 tooth. Really nice mechanism. It's got a dial switch there, reversible. This is one of my new favourite ratchets. It's just so handy, and it's really nice to hold in the hand. It's really solid. It's got a good weight to it, and that mechanism just sounds brilliant. There is a snap ring around there, so you can probably service this. If you wanted to, you could probably pull that snap ring out and grease it up. But anyhow, lifetime warranty. All of my tools have got lifetime warranty from whichever brand, but I haven't had to warrant anything. So I don't know how you'd go with Jimy. I suppose you'd have to mail it to them. They're based in South Australia, I believe, but really nice ratchet. Next one. This is an old one. This is a Sidchrome made in Australia ratchet. I got two of these, not because they're good. I've got two of these simply because they're made in Australia and I collect Sidchrome, vintage Sidchrome tools. If it's Sidchrome and it says made in Australia, I'll buy it. I bought this and the second one that I've got simply because it's made in Australia. This sits in my toolbox at work. The other identical one sits in my toolbox at home and I hardly ever use them. These are horrible, horrible ratchets. And sadly, the modern Sidchrome is almost exactly the same. Modern Sidchrome is made in Taiwan, not made in Australia. But they look identical. And I was actually in Total Tools yesterday and I picked up a brand new Sidchrome ratchet and the ratcheting mechanism sounded exactly like this. Incredibly coarse ratcheting mechanism. This great big clunky button. There's not many teeth in this. This is like the Mount Druitt spanner. It's got about 4 teeth. But you know, it's a solid unit. This is probably 30 years old, thereabouts, maybe older, I'm not sure. But I do not recommend buying new Sidchrome ratchets. They are the same clunky design as this. This is horrible when you're down in a confined space and you're trying to undo something and you've only got limited movement. This is not the ratchet you want. Not only that, but it requires quite a bit of force to ratchet it. Whereas something like this one requires bugger all effort to ratchet it. This one requires quite a lot of force, so sometimes you'll try to ratchet it and it will actually turn your nut or your bolt in the wrong direction. I do not recommend these unless you're an old Sidchrome nut like I am. Don't buy one of these. Don't buy a modern one. The modern ones are terrible. This has lasted a very, very long time, but I've only heard bad reports about the modern ones. Apparently they fail quite a lot, and Sidchrome's warranty service I've read is terrible. Next one. This is my Calibre half-inch drive ratchet. The same as my little quarter drive. Awesome, awesome ratchet. This is another super cheap auto one. I bought this kit when Calibre was being discontinued, and so it was discounted, but this is a great ratchet. I mean, I've never had a problem with it. 72 teeth, really comfortable, really nice. So, although they don't make these anymore, what I can tell you is when you're looking for a ratchet, buy something that's 72 tooth or more. I wouldn't buy anything less than 72 teeth in a ratchet. This is great. You can there's bugger all movement required to ratchet it. Nice and heavy. When it comes to ratchets, you do want something that's comfortable because you're using it all the time. This one's okay. I don't like the bottom. That digs into your hand if your hand's down there. But overall, that's a nice ratchet. And moving on to my favourite ratchet. This is the best ratchet I've ever owned. This is a Jimy Tools. We'll get that up the right way for you. Jimy Tools. Made in Taiwan. All of these ratchets are made in Taiwan except for the crappy Sidchrome that's made in Australia a long time ago. All of my ratchets are made in Taiwan. This is a flex head long ratchet with a nice detent in there. So you set it in the position you want it and it stays there pretty much. This isn't 72 tooth, I don't know how many teeth this is, it's less than that, but you don't use this one in confined spaces generally. This is when you want to do something up tight. And I know that you shouldn't use a ratchet to break bolts, but I use this thing as a breaker bar. It's actually slightly longer than my half-inch breaker bar that came in this Calibre kit. So I use this thing as a breaker bar. I swing off it, I jump on it, I stand on it, I put a pipe over the end and make it even longer. This is an awesome ratchet. I've been using this for around 3 years all the time, and I'm using the daylights out of it, and I can't recommend it enough. They're somewhere between $90 and $100 from Jimy Tools, which you can buy through VEK Tools, among other places. And every mechanic should have one of these in their toolbox. You can buy the same sort of thing from different brands. I know the Snap-on ones are really awesome, but this thing is bloody great. The only bad thing is that screws come out a couple of times and fallen on the floor, the head's fallen on the floor and the detent ball's gone flying. So I've been now on all fours searching around with a torch and a magnet looking for the detent a few times, but apart from that, you just check that that's nipped up from time to time, and it's the best ratchet. I love this thing, it's so good. I've never had it apart. It's got one of those funny looking snap rings around there too. I suppose you can pop that out and pull this out and grease it, but I've never done it. Great ratchet. The handle's fairly comfortable, even though that soft grip's copped a flogging. Still pretty comfortable, but that's the best ratchet. Jimy Tools, $90 odd. Buy one of those. Definitely buy one. And my last one is my 3/4 drive ratchet. I've had this one for about a year and a half. Bought my 3/4 set. It's a Toolex from Gaswell. So it's the same brand as my nice 72 tooth Toolex 3/8 drive. As far as I can tell, Toolex are only sold by Gaswell. They've been around since I think the 80s. They're an industrial brand, an Australian brand, but not made in Australia, of course. But it's about $330, I think. Got me the 3/4 drive socket set, metric and imperial, with a sliding T-handle, a couple of extension bars, and this ratchet. This is a great ratchet. Real nice, strong mechanism. I've used this quite a lot, swung off it, and carried on. The knurling's quite nice there. It's comfortable. It's grippy. It's just a nice ratchet. So if you need a 3/4 set, Toolex at Gaswell are pretty bloody good. Although it's similar pricing to other brands, you can buy a Repco set for about the same price. It might be a little bit more, but yeah, Toolex is good. So at the end of it, that's just what I have. I think every mechanic should have one of these ratchets in 1/4, 3/8 and 1/2 inch. They are so handy. A swivel head and a flex head 1/2 inch. I reckon a long flex head in each size is the bomb. Maybe not in 3/4, but in 1/2, 3/8 and 1/4 drive. One of these, bloody awesome. Do not buy Sidchrome. Don't buy Sidchrome ratchets, they're rubbish. Jimy Tools, pretty good. Toolex, I can't fault Toolex. Jimy Tools, awesome ratchet. Unfortunately, Calibre's gone. They don't exist anymore in tools, so you can't buy that anymore. The replacement at Super Cheap Auto, Tool Pro, I don't know. I've never used their ratchets, so I can't speak for them. But anyway, that's hopefully that was a little bit informative. If you have any questions about ratchets, leave a comment. But thank you for tuning in again to Mixed Mechanical on Spanner Talk, and I'll see you on the next episode.